Hello, welcome to another update of Mix Universe. This is a musical sandbox game where everything that you see, everything that you hear is all real time happening live, and it's all being generated based on these node connections together. So if I go up to this node, I can preview it, it'll make a sound, and just kind of at the scale of this entire composition together, this mix is going to play and everything will be playing real time. So there's just a lot of things going on and I want to talk about them also. We'll start with showing the new things and jump right into it. Let's go. This stuff's really cool. Finally getting to lasers is super cool. Being able to play and have lasers show up. Ah, it's so cool. Like, I mean, come on. So one of the biggest things to show off right away is that everything in here now is way more stable when it comes to performance, and also just in general, we have, right here, I am running at around 90 for this while recording video. So it's pretty powerful now, and even in the graphics settings, if I take down the visibility fog, I can get a couple more milliseconds back, and you see I'm at about 100 FPS, and this is on something that probably would have been around a fraction of that in the previous update. Layer switching now is super smooth, so you can see that when a layer switch happens, switching isn't causing hitches or anything like that. It's just nice and super smooth. All this stuff comes together in order to make this run properly on the Steam Deck. So this mix that you're seeing here actually runs at 30 FPS on the Steam Deck, which I'm super pumped about. Something else that you might have noticed is that there is full controller support now, so you can go in and actually move nodes around, use the D-pad to navigate all of the different UIs and edit everything. I wouldn't say that you can heavily rely on controller support just yet, but you can at least give it a try as we go. Something else I'd like to emphasize when it comes to performance and just overall playback is the speed of playback now is phenomenally more stable. So you can actually crank this up, and I'll demonstrate this here. So if I play this again and then crank the tempo up, you can hear all of the 30-second notes really playing on their time. So if I were to do something like this, something like that actually is able to play now. And I'll block this so that way we can actually hear it a little bit without it starting the whole thing. If I just do this whole thing, crank up the tempo, you can see it's on point. Something right here where you have these like type notes, it's all on point. So yeah, that also means that each of these links now you can add 30-second notes in. So this is a new timing control. So this is something you can add to any link in order to get that 30-second note timing. Some quality of life changes are 1, 2, 3, and 4 now actually will switch modes. So if I have something selected in here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. There have been a decent amount of improvements to the different UI types. A lot of this stuff kind of came along with controller support. So something like clicking here and being able to click and without dragging to place new things into the world. This also is something that you can hold down Shift and you can just keep placing. So if you wanted to super quickly place a bunch of nodes, you can do that. Along with this is the ability to select elements now. So similar to how you can select these to place stuff, you can also do this on elements. So what I mean by that is you can just click an element now, you can select it that way, and then just kind of click to add them. The slots will highlight now when you have something selected, or if you're clicking and dragging, that'll also work. If you select a slot first and then double click, then you can double click into that slot. And what's useful about that is if you are doing multiple nodes, in the past you had to kind of like drag it here first and then double click. Now you can just straight up click, double click, and it'll populate across all of these. You'll notice now that nodes will actually animate when they go off. The links have been updated as well, the visuals on the links, and just overall, this sort of visual has been improved quite a bit. If you hit C or if you click the thumbstick down, you can change the camera mode, and this will go to fly mode. In fly mode, you can kind of hover around the character in a pretty cool way. This kind of changes your perspective a little bit. And then you can also hold down left trigger or shift to boost. And I think this is probably one of the coolest features. I don't know, I just love flying around these mixes. It's super fun. There's improvements here to be had for sure, but at the very least, it is pretty fun to play. Plus on top of this is that in these modes, you can hit right trigger or you can right click in order to send out, oh, that was like one of the worst ones. In order to send out 2 nodes to activate them. So if you want to mess around with trying to like fly around and activate nodes as you're going. I'm not really sure where I'm going with that feature, but it was an idea that I just wanted to get in. Maybe if you actually set up nodes that were floating in the air or something in a cool designed way, you could actually fly around, hold down right trigger, and activate them in a cool way. So spectral signatures have been updated too. This is using now a constant Q type visual, and something that really shows is when you're doing something like a pitch shift. So if I go to a different layer, say we have this, right? And then I pitch shift it up. You can kind of watch it's fun to play with. All right, let's talk about lasers. Lasers are a really cool new node. So by default, when you place a laser, if you hit T on it, it will just automatically do a laser type show back and forth. And this is something that you can do where you actually hook up a starter node to it. So if I do this and then I hit play, I have these over here. Let me kill those. You can see that every time this activates, the laser will change. And what's cool about this is you can do some really interesting stuff here where you actually have these lasers in tandem, and you can do stuff where you can have one play after another. So if I did that, you can see this will play and then the next one will play, and you can just kind of do that over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. So this will be a lot of fun to see what people do with this. The options on this are pretty robust for what it is at the moment. So you can flip which direction it starts in. So when you reset, you'll see that this one is facing this direction, or when you're facing this direction, resetting is just hitting space. And then you can also control the angle of the laser as well, up to 90 degrees in both directions. So I can hit 90 to 90, and this will do a full 180 laser from one end to the other. And the last thing with lasers is you don't have to activate them like this. They will automatically find the nearest node. So if I do something like 7054, cool, and then I make a new node, you can see right away that it turned gray. This one turned gray. If I move over here, this one will turn gray. So it just finds the closest music playing node. Once you change them, these will actually activate the laser. So by default, this will send out the pulse to the laser. This one, you'll notice that the one here is not sending out a pulse, and that's because this one's still connected. So once you disconnect it, it'll send the pulse. And the reason why it's like that is because when these are actually not connected to anything, if you hit T, you can activate them using their nearby nodes. And this is something that is used heavily in the Laser Fusion demo, because I just do stuff like this where I put like 3 of them next to each other. And then when this one plays, they just automatically do their thing. The last knob on this is the duration. So if you want to make them fast, you can make it fast. If you want to make them super slow, you can make them super slow. So this is how you can really control what's going on with the lasers. Colorizers are a super cool new node. They are able to change the global colors on the fly. So if you click on them, you have 3 options. You have the duration of the color change, you have the brightness, and then you have the global cycling of the hue as well. So if I hit T on this, you'll see it'll change to this really cool yellow sun with like a nice orange sunburst type feel. And then if I hit T again, now after changing the cycler, you can get to this like green and blue type thing. You know, that sort of stuff is really simple to do. And you can also do things where you actually like do a flash, have one play after another, and it'll create some sort of flash type thing. So if I did a bright one and then I did a darker one, this will create a little flash effect. Now, if you are working on this and you're getting flashes all over the place and you don't want to be you don't want the colorizers to do their thing, but you also don't want to disconnect them, you can always turn them off. And this is also just like an accessibility option for those who might be susceptible to the flashing as well. So you can turn them off and this will go back to the way that it was. So I'm going to throw down some random lasers here and just, you know, I'll talk about the plans here for the future. So I was initially going for an early access launch in February. It's now February. There's no way that I could possibly do that. I've been in this playtest for just about almost I think 9 months now. So I'm trying to aim to somewhere around mid-April for the early access launch. And my thinking is that with GDC coming around the corner, I have a talk at GDC. Thankfully this year I have the opportunity to talk about Mixed Universe, to talk about the tech in this game, and I'm really excited to actually share a lot of knowledge with that because I think it's some really cool tech. There's a lot going on with trying to decide strategy and all that stuff. There's a lot of stuff in the future with controller support I want to finish up, and just in general like tutorialization and stuff, which I've talked about literally every single update. I've talked about how I need to get to those tutorials, and it's one of those things where the tutorials just keep they're planned, they just keep getting pushed, and I need to stop pushing them and actually get them done. So all that stuff is part of the next upcoming wave of updates, but you can expect that I will come up with excuses to do visual stuff because that's just what I really enjoy doing the most out of this thing. So I wonder what this looks like now. Oh, that's cool. Okay. So if you're going to GDC, please check out the Mixed Universe talk. At the very least, see if it lines up with your schedule. There is another Chris Zukowski at GDC and doing 2 talks. I'm also doing 2 talks, so definitely make sure you're looking at the right Chris Zuko if you're wanting to look at game marketing stuff. That is the other Chris Zuko. So yeah, and I'll end with this mix and hope that everybody has a good day, enjoys the update, and let me know how things go, and join the Discord, say hi, all that stuff. So have a good day. Here we go. Let's do this. That's cool. Okay, this one needs a laser. This one's got to be straight up. Oh. I'm just going to throw like a bunch in here. Oh, I guess I should probably edit the video now. But what does it look like? There we go. Cool. I just had to see it. Bye.